It's on now. We good.
We good. Check. There we go.
Remember, it's blinking. Just press the button.
Okay, sounds good. YouTube. All right.
Shalom, Israel. Give it like 2 minutes.
Yep.
Everybody get up in here.
Shalom Yahweh Shabbat to the brothers. Shalom Yahweh to the sisters. In today's Sabbath service, we are the SUBCRIBE, Israelite School University of Practical Knowledge, under Commandant General Yohana, and we are not affiliated with any other Israelite group.
That's right.
Today, we are going to be covering what is a heathen and why our people should stay away from them. Our people have suffered a lot throughout the years, as you already know, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. And one of the things that we suffer the most is loving other nations. Loving other nations is loving your so-called Chinese, Japanese, other people who are not of your nation.
Right.
And we're going to break down how this has and still continues to lead to the destruction of our people, so says the Bible. So we're going to give everybody a chance to kind of tune in, give like a couple minutes, and we'll get started with the prayers. And Salaki, if I could, I also wanted to say Salaki to the brothers and sisters that tuned in on Facebook last week. I noticed that there were some unanswered questions on there. So we'll do the best that we can to get to everybody's questions today, if you have any. And for those tuning in, just so you know, we'll be getting started after the prayers. We're going to be starting off with 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. And we'll get started. Give everybody 1 more minute.
Solid. It's warm. It's right there. Really good. Just sit your butt down for some there to happen.
All right, we're about to get started with the prayers. Remember, brothers, make sure your heads are uncovered. Sisters, make sure that your heads are covered. And with that, Amijim, just me and the brother up here.
Listen.
Sorry, face me. Sorry.
La Yasharala,
Which means to Israel. Sorry, face me. Sorry. All right, Majim Akwan Yaha Kwadam, which means to rise and face the east. And we're going to get started with the Lord's prayers in the Hebrew. It's the Lord's prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Wadash, Ayah, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'a, Batazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Ba'arataza, Kawa, Hayah, Bashamayim, Tanlanawa, Lakum, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawatnawa, Kasalaknawa, Kabawathinawa, Wala'a, Tabayanawa, Wanasaiwan, Ball, Abashai Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, Lawalamium, Aman.
The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it.
Hakak, which is the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Babakashah, Salaki, Latan Lanawa, Hakak, Larapa'ah, Call, Makala, Wakal, Madawa, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazarian, Hakak, La'akwayim, Hamathian, Hakak, Al, Rakawath, Atama Allah, Largarashun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, the water.
Amen. Hakak in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. And all manner of disease. The power to cleanse the lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
The blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahushai, Wamiyaka Allah, Wa Alahayim, Matazab Ya'ah, Alawap Yahana, Ha Alawapya, Ha Kwatazayoyin, Haka Waha Akwathian, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai,
the water. Amen. The blessings in the English. Bless you, Yahweh. And Yahushai. And Michael. And the angels. Commanding General Yohanan. The generals. The captains. The officers. The troopers. And the sisters. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah, Ayunya, All, Ahayim, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'aim, Yahweh, Aisha, Shemayim, Wa'arataza, All, Yathan, Namawat, Galka, All, Nawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Wala'ah, Yashun, Yasharala, Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Ayad, Yamka, Yawamam, Hashamash, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarath, Balayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal, Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Taza'afka, Wabawa'afka, Ma'ita, Wa'ai, Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth Israel
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
shall neither slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade.
The Lord is thy shade
Upon thy right hand.
upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by
nor
night.
the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee. The Lord shall preserve thee
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. We got Psalms 83. It's like it. In the Hebrew, Alahayim,
Alahayim,
all, Ramaya,
Amaya,
Laka,
Laka,
all,
Zakarash,
Zakarash,
Wa'al,
all, Ashakwat,
Ashakwat,
all, Kaya,
Kaya,
Kana,
Hana,
Abiyabika,
Ayabika,
Yahama,
Yahama,
Yawan,
Yawam,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Isle,
Isle,
Yamaka,
Yamaka,
Ya'ayamwa,
Ya'ayamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayata,
Wa'ata,
Yaitazawa,
Ya'atazawa,
Isle,
Isle,
Tazapawanyaka,
Tizapawanyika,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Kawa,
Nakawa,
Manakakidum,
Manakakidum,
Goya,
Magaya,
Wala'a,
Wala'ah,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Shum,
Shum,
Yasharala,
Yasharala,
Awada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Naitazawa,
Ma'atazawa,
Abba,
Abba,
Yakadwa,
Yakabwa,
Ayaka,
Ayaka,
Baryath,
Barak,
Yakarath,
Yakawakwa,
Aliyah,
Aliyah,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wa,
Wa,
Yashamai,
Yashamai,
Alayam,
Ayawam,
Bawa Abba,
Waba'aba,
Wargorium,
Wargayam,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wymawan,
Ayawam,
Wymalak,
Wamalak,
Halashah,
Halashak,
Am Yeshabia,
Amyashabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gum,
Gum,
Ashawar,
Yashawar,
Nalawa,
Nalawat,
Imam,
Aman,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Zarawai,
Zarawai,
Labunya,
Labunya,
Lawat,
Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Lahum,
Lahum,
Kamudyan,
Kadmudyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Hayaw, Salakia. Salakia. Kayabyan,
Kayabyan,
Banakal,
Banakal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Dara,
Daira,
Hayawa,
Iowa,
Daman,
Daman,
La'a,
La'ah,
Dama,
Dama,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yamawat,
Kara'ai,
Kara'ai,
Wakaza Abba,
Wakaza'aba,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabat,
Wakatazol,
Wakatazal,
Manai,
Manai,
Call,
Kal,
Nasayakama,
Nasanakma,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Narashah,
Narashah,
Lanawa,
Nanawat,
Ath,
Ath,
Nawath,
Nawath,
Alahayim,
Alahayam,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayatamwa,
Shayatamwa,
Gogala,
Gagala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapunya,
Lapunya,
Akawa,
Akawat,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Thaba'ira,
Taba'ira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wa,
Wa,
Kalaba,
Kalabat,
Kalahat,
Salaat,
Taharium,
Ka'ayam,
Kun,
Kun,
Doradatma,
Daradama,
Masa'iraka,
Masa'iraka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapatka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
sorry, Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyahum,
Palayam,
Kuala1,
Kalawam,
Waya,
Waya,
Kwashwa,
Wakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Bahalwa,
Bahawa,
Adya'ai,
Ayai,
Waya,
Waya,
Kaparwa,
Kaparwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abawa,
Waya,
Waya,
Daiwa,
Daiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Ata,
Ata,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahawah,
Yahawah,
Labaka,
Labaka,
Ali1,
Alawam,
Al,
Al, Call,
Parat.
Hiarataza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo,
Thine
enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make atonement.
And they that hate thee.
And they that hate thee.
Have lifted up the head.
Have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
They have said.
Come.
Come.
And let us cut them off.
And let us cut them off.
From being a nation.
From being a nation.
That the name of Israel.
That the name of Israel.
May be no more remembrance.
May be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together.
For they have consulted together.
With one consent.
With one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
Of Moab.
And the Hagarenes.
And the Hagarenes.
Gabal. And Ammon.
And Ammon.
And Amalek.
And Amalek.
The Philistines.
The Philistines.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with
them. They have hope in the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the Midianites.
As unto the Midianites.
As to Sisera.
As to Sisera.
As to Jabin.
As to Jabin.
At the brook of Kison.
At the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endor.
Which perished at Endor.
They become as done for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Ored.
Make their nobles like Ored.
And like Zaid.
And like Zaid.
Yea.
Yea.
All their princes as Zabah.
All their princes as Zabah.
And as Zalmunna.
And as Zalmunna.
Who said. Let us take to ourselves.
Let us take to ourselves
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Make them like a wheel.
Make them like a wheel.
As a stubble before the wind.
As the stubble before the wind.
As the fire burneth they wood.
As the fire burneth the wood.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
And as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
So persecute them.
So persecute them.
With thy tempest.
With thy tempest.
And make them afraid.
And make them afraid.
With thy storm.
With thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame.
Fill their faces with shame.
That they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Lord.
O Lord.
Let them be confounded.
Let them be confounded.
And troubled.
And troubled.
Forever.
Forever.
Yea.
Yea.
Let them be put to shame.
Let them be put to shame.
And perish.
And perish.
That men may know.
That men may know.
That thou.
That thou.
Whose name alone.
Whose name alone.
Is Yahweh.
Is Yahweh.
Art the most high.
Art the most high.
Over all the earth.
Over all the earth. Sorry, face me. You may be seated. Let's clap it up for the Most High.
Oh.
All right, today we're going to be going over 1 Kings chapter 11, verses 1 through 7 in the Hebrew, and then we'll go over it in the English.
Oh. 1 Kings.
1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. So we'll be starting.
You got a question for him, or you want
to? Actually, yeah, no. I'll propose. I got two questions. So my questions are going to be. Okay.
I got one.
You got one. Okay. Now you know. Okay, I'll come up with one. You come up with one.
Okay. My question would be, for King Solomon's first wife, what nation was she from?
Mm-hmm.
What nation was King Solomon's first wife from?
And my question is going to be, who was King Solomon's mother? And if anybody could put in the comments, if you know. All right. So yeah, 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. That's where we'll be starting.
Okay. 1 Kings chapter 1? Chapter 11, verse 1?
Chapter 11, verse 1.
Okay. The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. In the Hebrew. Ya'ah Dahama Lara Salakia. Shalamaha Ahaba Bashyam Salakin Nabar Yadath Rabdath Taya Bath Yap Raiha Mada Abba Yadath Bayadath Mayath Tazara Rabaya Yath
Hata Yath Ma Ma Mana Madaya Aga Dayam Ashara Ama Raya Hada Allah Ya Banaya Yasha Ra Allah La Ya Taba Ana Ba'am. Right.
Three.
I can't even see it honestly. I think I'm getting to verse 3.
Okay.
We'll go a little bit quicker.
No, you good.
Hama la ya ba ada ba bakama akada yatada ata yala baba come ya aha raya ala haya ham baham rabaka shala maha laha abaha okay, I'm look out for that. Daya ha ya lad nasha ya yam radat shaba ya I dath dapa laga shayam shala dath daya tada nasha yada af ya labada daya aha aya la aita zaka nath shala my haba shaya da hata ka ata yala bada aka raya Allah Hi Allah Ha Yum Aka Rayam Dala Yaha Laba Bada Shalom Amaya Hadaha. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm getting close. Okay.
You good.
Allah Hayada Bala Baba Rada Ya Yara Abba Yada Daya Lara Shala Maha Allah Ha Yada Aka Raya Aisha Ashatarta Allah Haya Tazara Rabba Yum Daha Karaya Mala Dama Shaka Taza Ya I'm a Nayam Daya Aisha Shala Maha Ra'ai Ba'ai Yanaya Yaha Daha the La'a Mala'a. I'm on 6 now. Aka Raya Ya the Ha Kara the Ra Abba Yada Ma Ataza Salaki Aza Ya Banaya Banaya Shala Maha Bama Ha Labama Dash Shaka Taza Mada Abba Bahara I think that's it.
That's it. All right, let's clap it up. All right, so we're going to be going over 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1 in the English. And actually, before we get started, hold on. Let's see, like one of the sisters, she answered the question on YouTube. So, like, let me get to you in 1 second. Solomon's first wife was Naamah, Pharaoh's daughter. Yes. And Solomon's mother is Bathsheba. Yep, clap it up for that sister.
Right, but the question was, what nation was she from? What nation? She's Pharaoh's daughter, but what nation was she from? That was good though, sis.
All right, so verse 1, 1 Kings, chapter 11. But King Solomon loved many strange women. What is a strange woman? See if somebody can answer that. We're going to get into it, but just proposing some questions as we read on. Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, who are your so-called Chinese today, the Ammonites, the Edomites. We know who the Edomites are. If you don't know, that's Esau, the so-called white man today. Zidonians and Hittites. Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Hold on. I believe it's Exodus 20:3. Thou shalt not have any other gods before me. That's what the Lord said, right? This is a warning. There's a reason why this is in the scriptures. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. Verse 3. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. For it came to pass when Solomon was old that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord, his God, as was the heart of David his father. We all know King David was Solomon's father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord, and went not fully after the Lord, as did David his father. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh, the abomination of Moab, it's the Chinese, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Moloch. Salaki, if you could you give me Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 2? The abomination of the children of Ammon. So the reason why we're going over this account in the Bible, right? All right, we know Solomon, who was the son of, strange is the other nations, heathens. Yep, that's exactly right. This is young man Alex. You're exactly right, brother. A strange woman, or just a strange person to us, according to the Bible, is someone who is of another nation. There's a reason why this specified in verse 1, the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Edomites, the Zidonians, and the Hittites, because Solomon was a brother, right? He was an Israelite, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian men and women today. The Lord does not want you to have. We're going to cover a few things. What is a heathen, and also interracial marriage. Also, this is a form of interracial marriage. Solomon, he had many wives, but of those wives, he was messing with strange women. The reason why the Lord is warning you to not mess with strange women is because you are going to turn away from the Most High. Salaki, you got Jeremiah 10 and 2. Can you read that for me, please?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Of the who?
Of the heathen.
Say it one more time.
Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
So this is a warning for us, right? The Most High does not want you to be a part of other nations. You got to understand that our God, the Lord God of Israel, that is the Most High to us. So other nations, they don't do that. All right. The law was given to Isaac, all right, who was one of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, right? The law was given to us. So when we choose to side with other nations, when we choose to integrate, have interracial marriages, side with the heathen, they're going to lead you away from the Most High because their ways are their ways.
Right.
For example, okay, this is sadly due to our brothers and sisters' ignorance today. A lot of us think that we're African. Right. You know, you hear that term African American all the time. No, if you are a so-called African American man or woman today, you are a Judite. You're from the tribe of Judah, the so-called Negro. Okay, Africans are Hamites. They are a completely different nation. Okay, yes, from a distance, a very, very far distance, because once you get close enough to them, you're gonna see the differences between us. They look similar because of their dark skin. At one point, we were hiding away from our enemies in Africa, and we wanted to blend in with them. But they knew that we were not of their nation, right? And plus, I mean, have you seen what Africans do? Right. Like, I mean, look, you can go ahead and claim if you're African if you want to, but I just want y'all to take a second to really look up their customs and their traditions and what they do. You know, I mean, social media is out there. I mean, you can look it up for yourself. I mean, just fair warning, you know, you're going to see some strange things. You know, they out there eating. I mean, it was some African that was putting cow manure all over his body. Right. And then there was another one. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so vulgar, but they were just eating straight up cow booty. Like, I don't even know what to tell you on that one. I'm sitting there like, y'all wilding. But you still have so-called blacks today who will say, but I'm African. Right. Okay, well, let me put it into perspective for you. If we are of the same nation, which we're not, what have Africans done for our people besides sell us into slavery? To the Edomites, to Esau, to the so-called white man today, because that's what they did. Okay,
it's like, if I may too, like, there's something about like heathens and fecal matter when what you just said. Like, it seemed like every time we get into like the discussion that heathens, they got something to do with fecal matter. Like, they got to deal with some type of, like,
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's like something about poop and heathen, like, that just go hand in hand with each other. But what you were saying, like us being claimed or titled as Africans have been like the most, I mean, it's very degrading as it is already, because when we try to put glory on those nations, you know what I mean? We try to make it look like Black Panther movie, you know what I mean? We try to make it seem like it's just all clean, and it's just like those people, like, we don't have the same type of vibe, you know what I mean? Exactly. We don't have the same type of, you know what I mean, hygiene. We don't have the same type of, it's just, it's obvious that we're two different people. And the sad part about it is we're so desperate in this captivity, right, that we would choose. I mean, if you really look at it, like, Hamites are kind of like the lowest of the low, you know what I mean, when it comes to like nations on earth. Like, we would just settle for the lowest nations and say we're those people and try to put glory upon those people just because we are so lost on who we are. You know what I mean? And these are like the lowest people, that some of the lowest heathens that are out there. You know what I mean? And they know they're not us, and they look down on us for even claiming that we want to be them.
Exactly.
So
no, I'm glad you brought that up, because you got to understand that like Africans that actually know their history, they'll tell you that we're not the same people. They get, like you said, they get angry when we try to say, oh yeah, no, we're African too, you know, we brothers. They'll look at you like, no, we're not. Right. No, you somebody else. Like, you know, we might have dark skin, you know, but that doesn't mean anything. That's another thing that I want to bring up to clarify with heathen nations. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian people have got to get out of this mindset that just because you have dark skin, that you are of the same nation. Right. Because there's dark-skinned Asians. You know, we have the Africans, there's Samoans that are dark-skinned. Right. That doesn't mean that we are of the same people. Because, okay, perfect. You know what, Salaki, if I could, actually, no, I got it right here. I got it. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round that are against her, come ye assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. So, okay, key word, speckled bird. A speckled bird, if I'm not mistaken, if you could you look up the Merriam-Webster dictionary for speckled? But if I'm not, All right. Sloggy. A little paranoid. But a speckled bird is a bird that has like, you know, different colored feathers in a sense. It's like that's like freaking me out.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Okay.
Jaden, go check real quick.
But you got the definition for speckled?
Con.
You did. Show them this one.
The Merriam-Webster definition of speckled. It's like a small speck, spot, or mark, as on skin, speckled coloring or marking.
Speckled coloring. Okay.
Is that it? Is that it? Because is
that the only one?
It's giving me like different. You know, same thing. A little speck as of color.
As of color. Okay. Well, we'll use the keyword color, right? Now, let me ask y'all something. Do all black people look the same? No. Do all Hispanics look the same? No. What about Native Indians? No. We come in many different shades of brown. You got light-skinned brothers, dark-skinned brothers, sisters, you know, medium brown, you know, sloggy. I've heard the term rice-skinned before.
Right.
But the point being is we come in many different shades, but we are still of the same nation. Black people have got, and when I say black, I'm talking about Hispanics and Native Indians too. We need to get out of that mindset of, okay, just because I'm a little darker or whatever, you know, that means that we're of the same people. No, you're not. Okay. You can read all about it. You know, I mean, it's a small book if you haven't read it already. You know, the Salakia. It's why can I not think of it right now? The Willie Lynch letters. All right, that's just one. That's a small book, but there's plenty of other books out there that go more into detail of how they've used systematic racism.
Yes, Salakia. Systematic. So they got damn. Why I think Schindler's List? Why do they?
I know, but you get what I'm talking about, right? Like they use like the light skin versus the dark skin. We've all heard this before, right? Like this has always been a thing to better divide our people. You know, they turn. I mean, to get slightly off topic, there's other ways they did it. Turn the man against the woman, the young against the old. They turn, you know, light skin versus dark skin. They've been doing that for centuries to divide our people because their biggest fear is that we're all going to come together as a nation. Blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indians.
Right.
They don't want for that. So they teach you, oh, well, you know, Mexicans are different from Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are different from blacks. Blacks aren't Jamaicans. Jamaicans are different from Native Indians.
Right.
All you are is from a different tribe, but same nation.
Right.
Okay. If you are Hispanic, Mexican, Salvadorian, Puerto Rican, Guatemalan, Ecuadorian, I mean, you can go all down the list, so-called Negro, Jamaican, Trinidad, Barbados, you know, Virgin Islands, your Native Indians, we're all of the same people. Okay, you get my point? So we need to get out of that mindset. And we need to stop looking towards heathens to lead us. Because we've been trying to side with heathens for as long as I can remember now. Okay, people love to bring up MLK. Martin Luther King was such a great man.
The disaster.
You know, and everybody loves to bring up the "I Have a Dream" speech. You know, every single Black History Month of every year, they love to bring that up. But what they don't tell you is that Martin Luther King also once said that I feel like I've led my people into a burning building.
Right.
If I'm leading somebody into a burning building, that building is going to kill us.
Right.
If the building don't fall down or if it's by fire. Okay. Why did Martin Luther King say this? Because he regretted his decision. So if Martin Luther King Jr. himself regretted his decision of integrating his people with the so-called white man, why would you still want to follow him?
Right.
He didn't even believe what he wanted to do with Slagia. He didn't even believe what he was doing was the right thing in the end. And to side with it, they killed him. Like, just think about that. He spent all that time trying to love the oppressor. You know, we went on marches. You know, even when, oh my goodness, if I could, just to share something with y'all. This was a few years ago. Just to let you know that this wasn't as long ago as you think it is. I'm watching some TV show with my grandparents. They're like, like 70-ish years old, whatever. And I don't remember the name of the show, but there was a scene, during like the civil rights movement, segregation, all that. So I'm watching, you know, brothers getting dragged in the middle of the street at the end of a rope by a vehicle. They getting lynched. Side note, we were still getting lynched as of last year during a pandemic.
Right.
You know, the white man still found time to kill a couple Negroes on some trees during COVID-19, just to show you the true nature of Esau himself. Man. Okay. Just to paint a picture for you. Okay. And we're watching this show, and, you know, of course it made me feel uncomfortable. I'm like, damn, all right. Like, you know, it's kind of like a reminder, like, man, you know, they was really doing us dirty. And I look to my left and I see my grandmother and my grandfather, and they look stuck. My grandfather started like shaking, and he took a deep breath and he said, yup, that's how it used to be. And it really, you know, this is before I came into the truth, but it really settled in my brain like, wow, you know, my grandparents had to go through this. And our people still go through this. Don't get it wrong. Like, they love to tell you, oh, you know, racism is over, blah, blah, blah. No, it's not. Okay. The Lord said, do not hearken unto the ways of the heathen, other nations, for a reason. Because why would you want to listen? I'll just talk about Edomites just in a sense. Why would you want to listen to the very race of people that have murdered, raped, and enslaved your people for generations and generations? Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians are doing not so well today because of them. Also, because, you know, we chose to go against the covenant that our forefathers have put on for us and disobey the Most High, which we're going to get into real quick. If I could you give me Deuteronomy 28 and 15?
Deuteronomy
28 and 15. Just to show you what happens when you choose to disobey the Most High. Because I don't want to tell you anything that isn't of the scriptures. Check, make sure everybody. Check something.
And if I can go on that too, like when I whole Martin Luther King thing, like them damn devils had me do that damn speech in school. I was so proud of myself too. I wish I would have known something about.
You ain't the only. You're not the only one, brother.
I was so proud of myself when I did that, man. I was like, oh man, I learned the whole speech by myself, and who would have known?
Hey, look, you ain't the only one. Look, I hate to admit it, but at one point I was one of them brothers. Like, you know, he did such a great thing, and then I got older. And then I started realizing, oh no, he really didn't. Salakia. But you got Deuteronomy 28 and 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. Cursed shalt thou be in the city, and cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Right.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store. Cursed shall be thy fruit of thy body, and the fruit of thy land, the increase of thy kind, and the flocks of thy sheep. Cursed shalt thou be when thou comest in, and cursed shalt thou be when thou goest out. The Lord shall send upon thee cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that thou settest thine hand unto for to do, until thou be destroyed, and until thou perish quickly, because of the wickedness of thy doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me.
Stop after verse 21.
The Lord shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee until he have consumed thee from off the land, whither thou goest to possess it.
So these are just a few examples of the curses that the Most High will put on you, which not even will put on you, but our people have suffered for, centuries, because we chose to disobey the Most High and listen to what heathens wanted to do. Just a quick example. We all know about Saul, the Benjamite, who was the king of Jerusalem at the time, and the whole reason why he even became king in the first place. Like, you gotta understand, like we weren't even supposed to have a king at that time, but of course, black people, being hard-headed, we look to the heathen, and we looked at them and said, well, they got all these kings and pharaohs, and they're such cool people. and not realizing the status that we have. We serve the Most High. Y'all heard that term? What's a king to a god? Like that ain't nothing. The Most High makes kings.
Right.
There wouldn't be no kings without the Most High.
Right.
But we were so ungrateful that we're over here. Why don't we have a king? Well, why? The Africans, they got the Philistines. Right. The Ammonites and they. Who cares what they're doing? Y'all heard that saying, why you worried about what's on somebody else's plate? Worry about what's on yours.
Right.
We was doing good. But again, we chose to be hard-headed. So what the Lord do, he gave us what we wanted. Okay. You wanna be like the heathen? Fine. I'm gonna give you a king. But the Lord made Saul out of his anger to prove a point. Okay. Now, of course, later, King David came along and, he was a man that was better than Saul. But the point was, the Most High is a jealous God. Right. Okay. So when you show him, you got to think of how ungrateful we've been throughout all these years. Even when we was being taken out of Egypt, man, we was being taken out of captivity. Right. The Lord got us up out of there. Mm-hmm. And I believe it's in the Apocrypha, Salaki. I believe it might be chapter 25. I'm not Salaki. I can't remember. I'm paraphrasing, but we were complaining. All right. Like, man, I'd rather be back in Egypt. Like, I don't want to do this. I'm tired. My feet hurt. I want to go chill with Pharaoh and them, man. Like, just to paint a picture of how disrespectful we were to the Most High. Right.
And it'll happen again.
And it's still happening today.
It'll happen again.
Joe Biden is what? Our 44th president, I believe. Right. 44 Edomites and a Hamite later, we still look into them for leadership.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. Like if I could real quick, I just want to elaborate on this. We got so excited. Let me talk about Barack Obama real quick. Okay. I'm gonna get to Trump and Joe Biden in a second. Right. Let's talk about Barack Obama. We got so excited, like we finally won. We finally have a brother in office. Man. Little did you know that President Barack Obama actually was an African American. He is African. He's a Hamite. Right. Okay. Now Michelle Obama. Okay. I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe she's Judah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because he's from Judah.
Yeah, but she married onto a heathen man. But again, that mindset of, okay, he looks like us. Okay. Now I know there's going to be a few out there who are going to watch this video and think, oh, no, you're wrong. He was still one of us. Okay, let me ask you this. What did Barack Obama do for black people other than legalize gay marriage?
Oh, absolutely. I'll answer that right now. Absolutely not a damn thing. They don't even take that much thinking for that.
Like, for real. Like, I've asked a couple of brothers this at my slave, and we're just talking about, I've asked many people these, like, what has Barack Obama actually done for black people? Like, really think about that.
And the heathens gotta be laughing at us, like,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we sat up in here and we convinced ourselves that Kamala Harris was black because of how she looked.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And she had the nerve to sit her butt in front of a camera and say, we won't do anything specifically for black people. We'll do something for our nation, which will contribute to the black people in America. But we're not just going to specifically just do anything for black people.
She not black.
And and for me, like me seeing people react, those same people reacting were the same people glorifying her before she got in office.
Exactly.
And they were, oh, let's get this to we got the first sister in office. We got a black woman and all. I'm just like, we cannot just be this ignorant. You know what I mean? As a whole, we can't be this ignorant as a whole. We are like, it gets to a point where it's just like, how stomped on how much more stomped on could we be?
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we sit over here and we get our ass whooped day to day, and we still sit over here and expect somebody to reach out and do something. Just do a little bit for us. Give us a $2,000 check. You know what I mean? And we'll take it and we'll be happy. Just do it. Right. Just show us you love us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we cannot be that broken. Like, it's like as us as a people showing how talented we are, how we rise through all this, you know what I mean, poverty and all this freaking, what do you call it? The
what's up?
When they this, god dang it, when all this stuff on TV, they trying to promoting, you know what I mean?
Was it propaganda?
Propaganda, yeah,
propaganda.
It's like we sit over here and we sit through all this stuff and we still will get our butts up. But and what I notice is it has to be a normal thing. It has to be the norm. It's going to be some devil sitting behind a computer, and he's going to have this fake website, and he's going to say, "Oh yeah, well we need to hate Donald Trump, and we need to get Joe Biden. Everybody need to get up," and he's going to come up with like a catalogs like what is the stuff that hope, or you know what I mean, like whatever little hashtags they be coming up with. This devil is doing this behind the screen, acting as if he's, you know what I mean, pro-black and just like he's for our people.
Oh my goodness.
And disguised as a black person, and we sit over here and all you need is a volume of people. That's all you need is a volume of people, and we'll a volume of people will get us up and walk a street with thousands of us on the street protesting. A group of people, a volume of people could get us to what were they doing? They were when George Floyd got killed. They were
marching. They were doing
no. They were vandalizing the streets and you know what I mean, stealing stuff, and like a volume of people. All they got to do is put it as a volume of people are doing it. Like a volume of people will sit over here and say, "Happy Juneteenth, Happy Juneteenth, Happy Juneteenth, y'all," and they'll keep sharing and sharing and sharing.
But what does it do?
But what is it? It does nothing for us, and all we're doing is we're just following the norm, and we're not even thinking for ourselves anymore.
Salaki, if I could, okay, if you could, can you give me Psalms 55 and 21, and I'm gonna read Ecclesiastes 7 and 7.
Psalms 55 and 21.
Yeah, Psalms 55 and 21. And we're gonna show you. All right, we're gonna prove it for you. Okay, so I'm gonna read Ecclesiastes 7 and 7, and if you could right after read Psalms 55 Psalms 55 and 21. So Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Key words: wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. And you guys, Psalms 55 and 21.
Come.
You could, Baba Kasha.
The book of Psalms, chapter 55 and verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
What was in his heart?
War was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
That's your oppressor today.
Man.
Okay, that's your Chameleon Harris. That's what I'm going to call her, because I mean, she tried to be whatever she can because she just got a little bit of brown skin.
Right. And
kind of not to get too off track. I just wanted to, because you said something that kind of piqued my interest. So I seen on like social media, a lot of specifically sisters were very excited to see Kamala Harris in office, and they said, "Oh, you know, we finally got a sister in office." Well, didn't we have one already? Michelle Obama.
I mean, she wasn't exactly into the politics, but pretty much.
But she was still in office.
Yeah, she was. I mean, the way she was working that damn gag.
She might as well
was in office too. Yeah,
but my point being is, I put it like this: there's a reason why we say that the oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Because to be a devil, you got to be what? You got to be a deceiver. Okay, and other nations have been deceiving our people for generations and generations, and it's like a broken record. We keep falling for the same script every single time.
Right.
Like you brought up earlier, the whole thing with George Floyd. Okay, you know, brothers and sisters, they got mad real quick, went out in the street, started marching, vandalizing. Okay, but realistically, what does that do for Black people? Also, if I could, oh my goodness, Juneteenth, right? Juneteenth, Joe Biden. Okay, you know what? Let me backtrack real quick. We all hated Donald Trump. Donald Trump is one of the few devils that didn't even bother to hide that he was a devil. He showed who he really was. Okay, So for the first time in a long time, you see all the Blacks and Hispanics and Native Indians. We're like, man, we can't stand this devil, man.
I actually like that. So
you know, no.
I like when you show who you are. I like that.
No, I would rather you do it anyway. Like that's what I'm saying. Like Donald Trump was one of the few
Be real with it.
Edomites who really showed who Esau really was. And for the first time in a long time, Israel kind of got together and we all kind of had the same mind frame for a little bit of, we can't stand this devil right here. We are so sick and tired of him. We tired of his crap, all this. But this is where we messed up. And when I say we, I'm talking about brothers and sisters out there in the world, for the ones who are not in the truth. They chose to do the same thing that we've been doing forever. We're going to get them out of office. Right. We're going to vote. And then here comes Joe Biden, the same Edomite who referred to black children as cockroaches, going at his legs. But, you know, we were so confounded with the hatred of Donald Trump that we were like, you know what? We're going to pick the lesser of two evils. Right. You know, Joe Biden, okay, he might not be exactly what we want, but we got to get Donald Trump out of there. Right. We got to get him up out of there. So, you know what? To hell with it. We're going to go with Joe Biden. You know, and of course, Joe Biden, you know, he rocking with it. You know, him and Chameleon Harris, they over here, you know, oh, okay, you know, we're going to, you know, the blacks, they hate him. So, you know, we're going to use that. Joe Biden, oh, my goodness, went to Hispanics. And I think he did like a little dance to some Hispanic music, and they was cheering him on. Like, that's all he had to do to win them over. Now he got our Hispanic brothers and sisters votes, just like that. And then, okay, they're making all these false promises, just like how Psalms 55 and 21 said, words were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. Okay, he's spitting that game. He's, you know, riding the wave or whatever. You black. You know, yeah, exactly. And, you know, and it was other black people who were going against other black people like, why aren't you voting? We got to get Donald Trump up out of here. What are you talking about? If you don't vote, he's still going to be here. And he's going to do another term. What is Joe Biden going to do for you? Man. He's been in office. He's done nothing for black people. Kamala Harris has been in office. She's not black. She is a so-called East Indian woman. She is of another nation. Okay. What has she done for black people? Nothing. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Hold up. No, they did do something. They made Juneteenth a federal holiday. Because apparently that's the reparations that we need. Oh, and George Floyd got a statue.
If I may, real quick.
Go ahead.
You know, it's funny because we should always do the opposite of what Esau wants us to do. If Esau didn't want us to vote for Donald Trump, regardless of what he said, because I mean, everything he says is no different than what Joe Biden is doing, what Bill Clinton has done, what, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
What is the George Bush has done? You know what I mean? They acted upon their racism. You know what I mean? They acted upon it. They showed you that they didn't care about any black, Hispanic, and Native American. They showed you that. Yep. But because he said that he doesn't care about any black, Hispanic, or Native American, oh, he's just the worst president in the world. Right. Oh, you could at least just try to at least make us feel good. You know what I mean? You could at least just try to make it seem like you like us. You was going to tell us that blatantly right in our face? How dare you? So it's just like
it's a lot.
It's like
my goodness.
We're sitting over here and we fall into the norm of this oppressor has us wrapped around his finger, and he's humiliating us now. Exactly. He's just showing how he's just showing how I don't want to say it like that because he's trying to show his perspective of how we think.
I get what
give them some chicken. They're going to vote for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Give them some chicken and some good old watermelon. They're going to vote for you. You know what I mean? Just say you love them. They're going to vote for you. You know what I mean? You ain't got to, you don't have to do anything for them because they're not expecting anything. They just want your love. They just want you to love them.
That's all we and Salaki, if I could, you brought up a heavy point because we're so bruised and battered now that's all we want. We just want to be loved. Just like any bit of crumbs that we can get, we'll take it. Right. You know, Juneteenth's a federal holiday, we'll take it. Right. You know, George Floyd got a statue. Little sidebar for you. George Floyd wouldn't need a statue if he was still alive today. Exactly. Okay. Don't be so, you see people hugging the statue and stuff. If anything, you should be angry that they even had the audacity to make a statue. And it was oh my goodness. It was some Edomite woman who, I can't remember her name, but it was some Edomite woman that said, for George Floyd, thank you for your sacrifice. Just to give you a perspective of what they think. Thank you for your sacrifice.
My word.
This brother was killed for a so-called counterfeit $20 bill, which apparently, I mean, I'm not certain, but apparently it wasn't a counterfeit. I'm not going to speak too much on that, but the point was he died.
Oh, no, we can speak on it. It wasn't a counterfeit $20 bill. That's already been proven in court. And what is the conclusion of the case? Did this man get life? Did he get death? No.
He got a trial.
He had a maximum of 22.5 years sentence. Not life, not none of that. He could still get out and be probably before his 60s, and he'll be just fine. And then not just that, it's a minimum. It's a maximum of 22.5, but it's a minimum of 15. This man's going to be getting out, and he's going to be probably 63.
He's still alive.
And I guarantee you they'll chop that in half too. They'll wait for us to not think about it no more, and they'll chop that in half. He'll probably do about 6 years, if that.
Yeah, they always get out early for good behavior. Not to go too off topic, because we're going to cover something else too. We're going to go over interracial marriages, but before we get to that, real quick, just to paint a picture for you, there was this happens all the time, but it was an Edomite boy. His name was Brock Turner. This was back in 2015 or 2016, I believe. And he had 3 alleged cases, not even alleged. He had 3 cases of sexual assault. Okay. He was caught in the act, by the way. You can look it up yourself. And do you want to know what they did with him? They had sympathy for him. Apparently, the court system did not want to give him the maximum punishment because I guess he was like some prodigy. He was like real smart or whatever. And they wanted for him to have a good future. So what they decided to do was he had 3 years jail, and I believe he had like 3 years probation. After being caught in the act of raping a woman. But here's the thing. He's still alive. He's still alive. He's out of jail. He's chilling. And guess what? He still got to go to college. He's just a registered sex offender now. That's all. So guess what? And because he got away with it, you don't think he's not going to do it again? Remember, he got caught in the act, and they still showed sympathy. Y'all had, so-called Edomite men out here shooting up schools, and they were treated with more hospitality by the police than a brother with a counterfeit $20 bill. There was a brother who was sleeping in his car. He was a little drunk or whatever, but he was sleeping in his car. Police came by. I believe this was in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. Slocky. Actually, you know what? No. Hold up, because I actually have it real quick.
I'm trying to look it up right now.
It's who is it? Salakia, no, because I want to make sure I get the brother's name.
I just seen it too. I'm like,
I have where is it? I have the notes. Okay, his name was Rashad Brooks. That was his name, Rashad Brooks. It was in Atlanta, Georgia. Salakia, Atlanta, Georgia. And he was found asleep in his car. All right, the police came by. I guess, he was a little razzled or whatever. He wasn't on drugs or nothing like that. That doesn't matter. But the point was, they could have easily detained him. I guess there was some kind of scuffle. And instead of, putting him in handcuffs, they shot him twice in the back. He's dead. Okay? If that's not good enough for you, let's talk about Ahmaud Arbery, a brother back in 2020 who was jogging in broad daylight, right, in a predominantly white neighborhood. And he was, my goodness, he was chased down. It was in Glenn County, Georgia, by Gregory McMichael and his son, Travis McMichael. This was on February 23rd, 2020. And these weren't cops, by the way. One of them was like a retired cop, but that doesn't matter. They took it upon themselves to chase this brother down, all right? And they shot him not once, but twice, point blank range with a 12-gauge shotgun. And he's dead. And it wasn't reported until May 7th. You got to think, like, that's a few months went by. And he died for jogging. But you mean to tell me a white boy who's a serial rapist, he gets 3 years in jail? That's it. Oh, he's a registered sex offender.
If I can do a quote,
Go ahead.
this. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but surely oppression make a wise man mad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you can't get mad off of these scenarios, off these situations, just think these are just things that are publicized. Right. These are not things that are probably on your day-to-day life. You know what I'm saying? On your day-to-day life, it's probably happening consistently every day, but we're not able to see it because we don't live in those neighborhoods. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what these people are doing or what they're getting away with. But we get a glimpse of what actually is going on. You know You know what I'm saying? A man could sit there and steal $9 and get life. You know what I mean? Get life in jail if he's part of the nation of Israel. But a heathen from the tribe of Esau, he can put his knee on a black man's back for 10 minutes straight, and he'll just get about 15 years. That's it. You know what I mean? We'll give him another chance. He'll learn his lesson after that. But that man that stole that $9, oh yeah, he's got to get out of here. He's a threat to our society.
And the reason why we're bringing all this up is because our people have to. What you brought up is so heavy too. The reason why we're bringing this up is because brothers and sisters have to understand that you're not going to get the love that you want from other nations. Okay, learn to love your own people. Right. Okay, like you see it all the time. Like brothers, they be in the club, whatever, having a good time. Next thing you know, you bump into him and he's ready to shoot you because you stepped on his J's real quick. But let a white boy walk by and they're so kind. They're so kind. You see black women who treat white men better than they treat their own men, and vice versa. You see black men who treat white women or the Asian woman or whatever better than their own woman. You don't think that's a problem?
Right.
Everybody hates us, including us.
Including us. That's a fact.
And we need to learn to love our own people. But the only way you're going to do that is if you learn to serve the Most High and you get in class and you learn these scriptures. And if I could, we're going to get into interracial marriage real quick. If you could,
if I could,
go ahead,
too,
go ahead.
What you were saying is so heavy because it's just like we've been showing everything but, and that's why we do get the results that we get. If because we do not love ourselves and we don't love our brothers and our sisters, and because we don't know ourselves, is the reason why we're being able to be taken advantage of. Is the reason why we're able to be publicly lynched, publicly whipped. Publicly, nothing has changed since the time period of slavery. You know what I'm saying? Once the lynching slowed down, then the imprisonment system started. You know what I'm saying? It went hand in hand. You can look it up. The same year that the lynching was illegal, was deemed illegal, was the same year of the imprisonment system being what it is now. So they went from one slavery to another slavery. You know what I'm saying? It's just once you pull out the smoke and mirrors, you see that it's all just captivity.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're keeping us in a mind state of you got to be dumb and you got to be a slave. You know what I mean? You got to be dumb. You got to be a slave. You got to get up. You got to work every day. You got to wake up you got to wake up early, get to work, make our society wealthy, and don't ask no questions. Don't read no books. Don't ask no questions. Don't even be considerate of who you could have been back in the day, because we just gonna tell you your life started when we found you. Your life started when you. What did you learn? What did you learn in school? You didn't learn anything before slavery. That's as far as those history books went in school.
That's right.
It just went from slavery up to now. You know what I'm saying? That's where our origin started as from their perspective. Right. They don't want you to know who you are. They don't want you to know what language you spoke. They'll tell you, oh yeah, you came from Africa, but Africa will tell you that you wasn't one of us though. So we're just so confused. We're so confused, and we're being just like it's like what's that one game, the paddle game?
Talking about the old school game.
Yeah, a little pat like just what Forrest Gump was good at. You know what I mean? Like they just hitting us back and forth, and we just getting beat back and forth, and it's just we're being so manipulated. But if we knew how corrupt these people are, if we separate ourselves and stop loving these other nations, we could see exactly how much they hate us. And if we loved each other, we could stop being taken advantage of. But Salaki.
No, like you took the words right out of my mouth. Like you said, if we learn to love each other, we would stop being taken advantage of. That was a great point, Salakia. If I could you give me where is it? Could you give me Genesis 6:2, Baba Kashar. And once you get that, I'm gonna get Romans 15:4. We gonna break something down real quick. Give everybody a little bit understanding on this.
You want to read it right now?
Go ahead.
The book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
Now, hold on now. If I could real quick. There's a reason why it was written like that. It says the sons of God, but the daughters of men. There's a reason why it was written like that. There's a very distinct difference. Okay. Who are the sons of God? Well, there's only one God, right? The God of Israel, okay, the Most High. But hold up, who's Israel? I'm gonna go over Genesis 35 and 10 real quick. Genesis 35 and 10. Remember how I brought up earlier that Isaac, Jacob, and Abraham were our forefathers? And God said unto him, thy name is Jacob. That's our forefather, right? Thy name shall not be called any more Jacob, but Israel shall be thy name. And he called his name Israel. So the sons of God, okay, the God of Israel, and that's our forefather, Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. So that's our God. Okay, so this is referring to, these are brothers, okay? The sons of God saw the daughters of men.
Right.
There's a difference. Who are the daughters of men? We'll be going over heathens. These were women, strange women of other nations. Okay. And what does it say?
Salakia. The book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 2. That the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair.
They were fair. They were beautiful. Right. Go ahead. Is that it?
And they took them wives of all which they chose.
Now they took them as wives. Now I believe it's in Romans 15 and 4, roughly paraphrasing, written for the. You know what? No. I ain't gonna paraphrase that. We're gonna go over that. Salakia. I want to make sure everybody understands this. Romans 15 and 4. The book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4. For whatsoever things were written aforetime, before, were written for our learning. The reason why I'm going over this is because, you know, we have a lot of old school Christians out there who like to argue between the Old Testament and the New Testament. They're like, well, you know, the New Testament overwrites that. No. This right here, because if I'm not mistaken, this is in the New Testament in Romans. Right. So, okay, for you New Testament folk out there,
that's a fact.
Romans 15 and 4. For whosoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning. So the things that were happening, you know, in Genesis, which we just went over real quick,
right?
That we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. We are supposed to learn from this. Like, okay, sidebar real quick. We went over last class. Jacob, Rachel, and Leah, and you know, a sister asked, you know, wasn't Leah and Rachel sisters? But it says in the scriptures that you're not supposed to lie with biological sisters within their lifetime. But Jacob did that at the time. And you saw what happened. Exactly. Leah was hated. Rachel was loved. And the Most High did not like that, which how you brought up last class. The Most High made Leah, he opened up her womb and Rachel was barren. It was to even the playing field. Mm-hmm. So things that happen in aforetime are meant for our learning. Now, these brothers right here, the sons of God, were Salakia. They saw these heathen women, the sons of men, and they took them as wives. Now, hold on real quick. What does that have to do with anything? We're going over who the heathens are, right? Men and women of other nations and why we shouldn't deal with them. I'm going to go over Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 3. And we're going to go over a couple precepts after that to show you why the Most High is not okay with interracial marriage.
I'm already right here.
You already there?
Waiting for it.
Salaki, you know what? My fault. You go ahead.
I'll read it. Yeah, I got you. I got you. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Mm-hmm. Thy daughter thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son.
Read verse 4 real quick.
Verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me.
Damn. Hold up. What happened with Solomon?
Man.
He wasn't he messing with the Edomites and the Moabites and the Zidonians and Hittites. What happened with King Solomon? His heart was turned away from the Most High. Because, okay, I see this a lot with being in like with my slave, especially because we're kind of like exposed to everything. We go to different countries and stuff, and you're glorified, especially like if you're a brother, you're glorified when you choose to sleep with like a strange woman, like a foreign woman or something. I see brothers all the time. They got like an Asian woman or Filipino or something like that, and it's like highly sought after. But there's a reason why the Most High doesn't want you to do that, because what happens is, and you know what, if I could just share with the class real quick, because I wasn't born in the truth, I also fell victim to this in the past also, before I had to, learn the scriptures and learn my ways. It's like a psychological thing. You start to want to please that woman by doing the things that she wants to do. So what she wants to do, like, okay, let's say, all right, okay, I know of a brother. It was a Benjamite brother, Jamaican brother, right? His rib is Japanese. So what did he do? She did not give a damn about his culture, but he went through thick and thin to learn Japanese, learn her customs, her traditions, what kind of food they ate. He learned her culture. And of course she liked that, because now he's conforming to her traditions and her customs. So now, he damn near Japanese now.
Right,
so,
right.
But that's what he wanted to do.
And the children.
And Salakia, hold up. We want to get into that real quick. So the children. So why is this a bad thing? Okay, not only are you disrespecting the Most High when you choose to go sleep with a heathen woman, you're going to have sex with her, right? You're going to have children with her. If you have children with her, Salakia, can you give me numbers 1 and 18? If you have children, let's say, we'll speak from both perspectives. If you're a brother and you choose to have a strange woman, you have kids. Now that child is still of Israel. There's a reason why we're about to go over this. That is still your seed. Here's the issue though. Because that's their mother and they're being exposed to their customs and traditions that you chose to hearken on to, they're gonna want to follow that. Like I've seen, I'm just talking about like today's day and age. Like literally, like the other day, I'm on I'm on TikTok or whatever, and there was a sister. Now she looked kind of like Asian, but she confirmed that her father is a black man, but her mother was Asian. But you look at all the things that she's about, it's always about her Asian culture. Right. Or another great example, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Right. He's a black man, for those of y'all who don't know, but he is like fully infatuated with his Samoan heritage because his mother is Samoan. Right. But that's a brother. He is of our people, but you only hear him talking about the Samoans. I think maybe like I think it was like one movie he decided to kind of like go more to his black heritage. Right. But that brother is still of Israel.
He was gay on that movie too.
I forgot about that. Not just to paint a picture with that. The one time he wanted to choose to portray not who he really is, but like his heritage, his true heritage. It had to be a gay black man. It couldn't just be in all the other movies, he's The Rock. Right. I'm not a big fan of like the Fast and Furious series. It's a little ridiculous, but he's over here beating people up, showing a form of masculinity. But when you want to be a brother, you got to be gay now. Just to point that out to y'all. And the same thing with this sister. She is a black woman, but she only wants to side with her Asian side, from her mother. But she's of, I believe her father was black. So Judah. I'm just gonna say Judah as a default, right? The Most High does not want that, because like we read earlier in Deuteronomy 28 and 15, if you so choose to hearken onto the ways of the heathen, all the curses are going to be put upon you. If you don't believe me, you can go out in today's society and look through all history books. We've been suffering for over 400 plus years. Right. Okay. And things have not gotten any better. Okay. The white man throws us a bone here and there. Okay. You see, a few black athletes, black actors, you might see a sister or a brother in a position of power or being financially stable for a little bit, but as a whole, we are not doing well. Okay.
Right.
And Salakia, the reason why I brought this up for the brothers is because it's a little different for the sisters. Before you read that, do you have anything?
For numbers?
Before we get to numbers.
I mean, nah, you pretty much you hitting the nail right on the head. Like it's really not much to like. It's the reason why the Most High spoke on that is because from generations to come, it might not happen during your time. You might have stayed diligent, but eventually, when like you hit a head point, and I actually did want to, you know what I mean, put my input on that.
What's up?
When you said, you know what I'm saying, if the mother, the child needs to love the mother. If the mother is from a heathen nation, the child is developing this soft spot for the other nation because that's his mother.
Wow. No, that's a great point.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
that's his
true.
mother. Like the child is not going to hate the other nations with the perfect hatred because its mother is from the other nation. So
you're gonna love your mom.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, you got your chosen few people who, I mean, they wake up to the truth and then they just like, you know what I mean? Okay, my mother's this, but I'm Israel.
Exactly.
I'm Israel. Like, you know what I mean? But it's a rare situation. If you're lame with the heathen nation, you're gonna eventually develop a soft spot for her.
No,
you're gonna develop
heavy.
If your child is coming from a heathen, that child can't hate the heathen custom. That child can't hate the heathen, the heathen nation because it has a soft spot. That's his mother. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It has a natural love for that person, regardless of wherever that person is from. So that I just wanted to
that's
input on
damn.
that.
I didn't even like think of it like that. That's an excellent point too. That's excellent. So yeah, now the reason why we're going over this is because how I brought up earlier, like, okay, if in this specific case, it was a Benjamite brother that got with an Ammonite woman, right? A so-called Japanese woman. They had children. Those children, even though, they're obviously not in the truth and they're developing heathen customs, that child is still a Benjamite, though. They're still of the Lord's people. If their father is of that nation. And we're going to break that down, if you could. Numbers 1 and 18, if you could, Baba Kashay.
The book of Numbers, chapter 1 and verse 18. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month. And they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers.
The house of who?
By the house of their fathers.
The house of their father. So what does that mean? Is there anything else on that? Go ahead real quick.
By the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names, from 20 years old and upward by their polls.
Okay, that should be it on that. So the house of your father, like I brought up earlier, for brothers, okay, because there's brothers out there who you might have a wife who's of a strange nation. Hey, look, that was before you came into the truth. You know the truth now, so you got to deal with that accordingly. But understand that your children are of your seed. Okay, that is still Salaki. That is still your Salaki. That is still that's still of Israel, right? If you a Puerto Rican man and you get with a Filipino woman, that child's Puerto Rican. If you Colombian and you get with a African woman, that child is still Colombian. Okay, that's just how it is. So says the Most High, not me, because the man is the one that passes on the seed, okay, not the woman. Now, why is this important? This is especially important for sisters with this interracial marriage, because if you are an Israelite woman, so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indian woman, and you choose to sleep with a strange man, not only are you being just as disrespectful to the Most High as a brother would be if he's sleeping with a strange woman, but it's even more important for you because a brother can still pass his seed through a woman. You can't, though. So if let's say you a black woman and you get with a white man, guess what? That child might come out a little tan, okay, but that child is not of your nation.
Right.
that is Esau's nation. Right. You're the mother. Don't get it twisted. You're still the mother. But that child is not of your nation. Right. And it took me a long time. I know that for some who haven't been in the truth that long, that might take a little bit to grasp. Because it okay, personal experience back in high school. I used to run into this all the time. You know, we had a lot of interracial marriages that were going on. We had a lot of brothers and sisters who were black and white or Hispanic and white or whatever, but their father was the one that was black or Hispanic. So when you go up to these brothers and sisters, you'll ask them like, what are you? They'll be like, my dad's black or my dad's Puerto Rican, so I'm Puerto Rican. They'll claim it. Oh, but isn't your mama white? Yeah, I mean, she white, but that's my mom. I love her, but I'm Puerto Rican, or I'm Jamaican or, whatever. They always claimed who their father is. Right. Okay. Now, vice versa, I remember specifically it was two who I thought would be sisters. And I mean, one of them, like she looked like a sister. Like she had the hair, she had the skin, the lips, everything. She ran track, all this stuff. So from a distance, okay, that's one of my people, right? Until I spoke with her and I realized something was a little off. Like I heard, something was weird. Like she didn't really rock with black people like that. She was always hanging around the Edomites. She listened to Edomite music. She didn't really care to get involved with like black culture and, at the time, Black History Month, she didn't really have any input on that. And then to my surprise, later on, I found out that her mother was Judah, but her father was Esau. So I was like, like that's, and I always thought it was kind of strange until I got into the truth that you bump into so-called black or biracial children. Whenever the father is of Israel, they're Israel, and they in their spirit, whether they know the truth or not, they know like, nah, I'm Jamaican and I'm Cuban, whatever it is. And just to paint a picture for you, again, going by, you really need to understand what the scriptures are telling you. Don't go by just off of skin color. Because I was when I first came into the truth, I was with a priest and a couple other troopers, and we're walking, doing little flyer runs, whatnot. And there was what I thought, I kid you not, this I can't say brother because it wasn't a brother, dark skin, cornrows, had the J's on, like he looked like a typical Judite, right? We go up to him, we talking about the truth and whatnot. To our surprise, this man looked at us and said, "Oh yeah, I know who y'all are, but I'm not of your people." I thought he was gonna say, maybe he's African or something. No, this man was darker than me and the brother up here, and he said, "No, I'm Esau." Oh, and I was like, wait, what? He said, "No, my grandfather is a white man who married a dark-skinned woman, I'm assuming a Judite woman, it could be Benjamin, I don't know, had a child who happened to be a son. So that son is of his father's seed, Esau, who also got with a black woman. So even though, due to his complexion, he looked like a brother, even he said this, I'm Esau. I'm sorry, but I'm not one of y'all." And we just kind of sat there in disbelief, like, nigga, you Esau? Like Salakia. I was like, what? But there you go. He go ahead.
Salakia, I was going to say too, like, I'm starting to develop a profession out of that, like sensing someone's spirit and seeing whether if they are Israel or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I, for some reason, when I seen that one new talented singer girl,
which one?
Benzino's daughter.
Benzino. I don't know who that is.
She got that one song that
but
when I seen her, I'm just like, she looked black. She looks like she got like, but it's something about her vibe, like it seemed heathenistic, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just like and I called it, you know what I mean? And Cap confirmed it, like, that she was a heathen, like, you know what I mean? So it's like I'm starting to get a talent out of that. Once you start dealing with the spirits more, you can see, regardless of what someone looks like, whether if they are our people or not. You know what I mean? Like, Esau usually wants to tend to Esau, regardless of what their environment is. If they're dark like us, they'll want to be amongst their people.
Right.
Africans hate the hell out of us. You know what I'm saying? So if someone's African, they don't want nothing to do with us. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? And I mean, it's just all about it's how to really bring it out of somebody is to speak about what you've been through, what our people have been through as a whole, and try to get some type of compassion out of somebody, because heathens do not feel any compassion for the children of Israel at all. You know what I mean? You bring up slavery, you bring up being killed by police, they'll always try to cape and try to find a way that the other person was right. And so if you really want to weave out a heathen, speak about our curses, speak about what we've been through. Well, like, you know what I mean? And then you'll see by their reaction whether if they're really Judah, you know what I mean, Benjamin, you know what I mean, regardless of any of the nation, you'll be able to weave them out, because we are programmed, but we still have a compassion for our people in a sense. When we see it every time we do camp. You know what I mean? Once we start speaking about, you know what I mean, what Esau's done to us, what our oppressors have done to us, we start getting into, you know what I mean, real life situations. You know what I'm saying? We talking about like what's happened to us and what's going on with them. Some people stop and listen. Some people just be like, hey, yeah, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but the spirit.
Some people feel it. Yeah. And you can tell the people who don't. You know what I'm saying? So like a heathen a heathen cannot feel any compassion for Israel at all.
Exactly.
They can't, because in a sense they feel some responsibility for what happened to us. And in order to not be punished, you have to ignore it as if it didn't exist. You know what I mean? Like, these people can't be oppressed, because if they're oppressed, then I got to take responsibility for their oppression.
They don't want that. You know,
so they can't feel compassion for you. You know, you know what I mean?
No, everything you're saying. No, everything you said is like 100% facts. And, you know, again, there's a reason why the Most High. You know, there's a reason, even with, you know, the scriptures. You know, there's a reason why Israel, we can thoroughly understand what the Bible is saying. Other nations cannot. Like, for example,
that's a fact.
That one, like, you know, like a Christian, like especially an Edomite, like they're gonna read something, they're gonna take it literal. Like, right. You know, they're not gonna like look into the context of it. Because if I could real quick, if you really look at the Bible, how do black people speak? How do Hispanics speak? It's slang.
Slang.
You know, like it's kind of like we have a term that'll mean something completely different, but we know what we're talking about. It's the same thing with the scriptures. I don't want to call it slang. I will say, you know, speaking in parables or whatnot, but we can understand it because it was meant for us to understand. Right. Okay. And there's a reason why the Most High is telling you to stay away from other nations. If I could, real quick, we'll just cover a few more, and we'll close up the class in about like 10, 15 minutes. We'll go over Proverbs chapter 5, verse 3. For the lips of a strange woman drop as an honeycomb, but her mouth is smoother than oil, but her end is bitter as wormwood, sharp as a two-edged sword. The Most High is letting you know, look, he don't care how bad she is. Okay, you got 12 whole tribes of beautiful Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian women that you could choose from of your people. Take your pick. Okay, stay away from these other nations, because in the end, she's not gonna have any true compassion for your people that you go through. That's because she's not of your people. Like it took me a while to understand this, you know, growing up. But you got to look at what our ancestors, even today, what our people go through in the hands of the so-called white man and woman. Okay, because at one point, oh my goodness, like, you know, the so-called white man was just like out here just blatantly like violating our women in front of our eyes. And there was nothing that we could do about it. If you even try to defend your woman, you're going to get murdered along with her. All right. Sisters were trying to run away, you know, doing anything that they could to not sleep with the oppressor, but he still had his way with her. And then for brothers, for those of y'all who don't know, there were a lot of black men who were murdered because the so-called white woman, she wanted to see what the business was, but our people, they wasn't rocking with that at one point. But you know what she did? They'll say things like this: if you don't do it, I'm going to tell them that you did. And of course they're going to believe her because she's of their people. That's Esau's woman. So either you're going to do it and do what I say, or you're going to die for it. And brothers would die for it. And Lord forbid he got caught doing it, sleeping with the oppressor's daughter or something like that. He got killed. It is pretty much, you're going to die either way. Okay. Our ancestors were literally dying, trying to not sleep with other nations. But now today we just do it, and we think it's just a cool thing to do because, this is the hookup generation. And, we kind of went over this last class of just sleeping with women and, not taking any responsibility for them. It's like whatever to us now. How would your ancestors feel for what you're doing today? Because that white woman, I mean, first of all, what's a heathen woman? What is she going to do better than our women? First and foremost, she's not going to vibe with you the same way your woman does, because that's of your people. That's why we call them sisters. Like that's the Aquathium right there. Okay, she's going to understand your pain because she's of your people and she's going through the same thing. Okay, you're not going to have to worry about, like we brought up earlier with King Solomon. His heart was dismayed from the Most High because he chose to sleep with heathen women. Well, if you're a strong brother and you got a righteous sister with you, you don't have to worry about that because y'all were the same people. Y'all serve the same God. Y'all going to be okay. You're not going to have to worry about your child, having a soft spot like how you brought up earlier, which was an excellent point, having a soft spot for another nation because, my mom's Chinese. Oh, my mom, she's Filipino or, she's Samoan or whatever. They're not going to suffer that. They're going to look at both of you like, well, my dad's of Israel. My mom's of Israel. I mean, I'm of Israel, so I'm going to rock with my people. You won't have to worry about those things anymore. That's why the Most High is letting you know, like, there's nothing but destruction going to come your way if you choose to do these things. And if I could real quick, just to go a little bit more on the strange woman, if that one wasn't good enough for you, Proverbs 6:24, to keep from the evil, Salakia, to keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattering of the tongue of the strange woman. We all heard that saying before of every brother's heard this before, never trust a big butt and a smile, stuff like that, Okay, look, yes, there's heathens out there that look good, okay, physically, okay, she might have a big behind, it don't matter, she's a heathen, okay, stop listening to you, think with your big head and not with your little head for once in your life, and just turn away from it. Proverbs 23:27. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit. I mean, if I could, real quick, for the sake of time, if you want to, we didn't get a chance to cover it too much, but if you want to go into Judges, I believe it's chapter 14, talks about Samson and Delilah. And Delilah was of the Philistines. She was of a strange nation. But Samson did not care. He was just like, this woman right here, I want her. And even his parents were asking him, like, do you not want a woman of your nation? Like, you want her? Like, really? And Samson was set on it. Like, Samson, this was a strong brother. Like, he was feared. He was killing, his enemies with the jawbone of an ass. He was just out here doing the damn thing. But, Salakia, but he fell victim to a heathen woman. Because she wanted to find out what his weakness was, and she was laying it on him, I guess. And his strength, they both did it. Yeah, they both did. So you could read all about that in Judges. We didn't get to cover it too much today, but the
only thing, that was the thing with Samson too. Like he hated the men, but he loved the women.
Oh yeah,
I mean, like he had a real good thing for, like, I don't know what it was. It was some type of domination type of thing or something like that. I don't know, but
what's this?
He hated the men, of course, because he was killing them daily.
But
he loved the men. Oh yeah, I got it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
we gonna get you, sis. Genesis 24:60.
Okay, so the sister was asking. The sister asked a question. I'm gonna read it online. She says, Salakia, sir, if possible, can you explain Genesis 24 and 60 dealing with Rebecca and her seed? I would like understanding because the seed doesn't come from women, but this scripture has me stuck.
Okay, sure.
Okay, so I'm going to read the scripture real quick, and it says, Genesis 24, verse 60, and they blessed Rebecca and said unto her, thou art our sister, be thou the mother of thousands and millions. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. So this is the situation with this scripture. Rebecca was being sent to Isaac to be married. Okay, so because she was being sent to Isaac to be married, when you're married, what are you going to do? You're going to have sex, and then you're going to conceive, and then you're going. So the seed is just like a word that can be explained in different type of terms. It could be actual, like a man's seed of what comes out of him, or it could just be his lineage, a child, or you could say a child. So in this terms, they're just speaking on her children, because Rebecca will have a child, that child will have a child, that child will have a child, and they'll form a nation. Right. So that's what they're saying. They're not specifically saying her seed that will come up out of her. The
seed that she's gonna bear.
The seed she will bear from Isaac, and the nations that will come from her. Okay, that's what they're explaining in that chapter.
Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question, sis.
And to answer the other question that nobody really got, Solomon's first wife came from Pharaoh, so she was an Egyptian. So she was from the tribe, the nation of Mitzrayim. Mitzrayim, so because she was an Egyptian. So that's what I was trying to get the answer to. But you know what I mean, Solomon slept with plenty of different strange women, which were heathen women.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The Bible speaks that this is a sin to the Most High. And you see the situations of the consequences of those things with or without the consequences of the Most High. Samson got his eyes picked out from sleeping with heathen women. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't even just have to do with the Most High punishing us for doing these things. You know what I mean? Solomon was serving other gods. You know what I mean? Building temples for other gods, because in his weakness, you know what I mean, that's just where he was at. You know what I'm saying? What else? I know there's plenty of different things with people sleeping with heathen women. But all in all, sleeping with a heathen, you want to try to remain as pure as possible. You want to stay in your nation, because at the end of the day, heathens will never love Israel ever. They will never show compassion for us. They will never love us. They will say it, and they'll go off of what their definition of love is. But you sit over there, and if you really want them to understand what they've done to us and what is going to happen with them, they won't accept it. They won't accept punishment for killing us and killing our babies, for burning us alive, for boiling us alive, for boiling us alive. They won't accept the punishment for it. They'll say that it wasn't me. And it didn't happen. I didn't do it. So why would I need to accept punishment? You know what I mean? We're in punishment for what we did as we speak. Exactly. And we accept it to this day. When we go through hell out here on these streets, we accept that we turned away from the Most High. We were chosen people. We had a power that was for us, and we had a power that was with us, and we chose strange gods. We chose unpowerful gods. No gods with no power. We chose Baal and all that weak stuff. You know what I'm saying? Instead of this power that actually can split an ocean, split a sea, you know what I mean, and have us walk through it in order to escape captivity. We chose these things. We chose these things over this real power that's actually working with us and working through us. So we're dealing with those consequences as we speak. We're still within those curses until Yahushua comes back to bring us our kingdom. Exactly. We're still under those curses. So we accept that we're under those curses. A heathen will not accept what he's done to you. He'll make it seem he'll try to find any other reason to show that that had nothing to do with you. Because at the end of the day, when you do a crime, you have to pay. You have to pay for that crime, and he does not want to pay. That's why he can't feel no type of love for you.
And if I could just chime in just real quick before we wrap up the class, a brother once told me when I first came into the truth, he said, "You cannot make straight what the Lord made crooked."
Right.
All right.
So
stop. Just stop trying to love them other nations. Learn to love your people, black, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. Stop depending on other people, other nations to bring us up out of this captivity, because we've been doing it all this time. And guess what? It didn't work.
Right.
And it still ain't working.
Right.
So maybe it's time to, I don't know, try something different. Just, throwing that out there. But I just want to say Tawada to the Akim and Akwathium that tune in to class. Your participation is always, we love it, Tawada. But with that, we're going to close with the class. And Maijum, just me and the brother up here. Sorry, it's me. Sorry.
La Yasharala,
which is to Israel. Sorry, it's me. Amadim upon Yahakwadam, which means to rise and face the east. Remember, sisters, have your heads covered. Brothers, have your heads uncovered. We'll start with the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shemka, Yahweh, Malakutka, Taba'ah, Matzaka, Haya, Aisha, Ba'aratza, Kawa, Haya, Bashemayim, Nathanawa, Hakam, Call, Yawam, Wasalaknawa, Kabawaknawa, Hasalaknawa, Kabawatinawa, Wala'ah, Nabayanawa, Nasaynawa, Salaki, Banasaiwan, a ball, Hawashai Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Laka, Kamalakwa, Wa'ala, Watapara, La'olamim, Aman.
The Lord's Prayer in the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it.
Hakak, which is the power. In Hebrew, Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahushai,
Ba'akashah,
Nathanawa, Hakak, Rapa'ah, Call, Makalah, Wakal, Madawah, Hakak, Latahar, Ha, Matazariah, Hakak, La'akwai, Amathia, Hakak, Al, Rakawath, Atama, Garashun, Ba'ashem, Yahushai,
the water. Aman. Hakak in the English. Yahweh. In the name of Yahushai. Please. Give us the power. The power to heal. All manner of sickness. All manner of disease. The power to cleanse lepers. The power to raise the dead. The power against unclean spirits. To cast them out. In the name of Yahushai. Thank you. So be it.
What songs? For sake of time. Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'a,
Asha'a,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
All,
Ahayim,
Mayan,
Ayam,
Yaba'a,
Abai,
Isaiah,
Azariah,
Ma'ain, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha, Shemayim,
Baratiza,
Ratiza, All,
Yathan,
Mamawat, Golka,
All,
Nawam, Shamarka, Hana,
Hana,
La'a,
La'ah,
Nawam, La'a, Yashun, Shawamar,
Shamar,
Yasharala,
Yasharala,
It's like Yahweh, Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh, Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Ayad,
Ayad,
Yemka,
Yemka,
Yawamam,
Yawam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'a, Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarath,
Wayarath,
Balayala,
Lala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makal,
Makal,
Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Apnapashka,
Apnapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'aka,
Taza'aka,
Wa'aka,
Awa'aka,
Ma'ita,
Ma'ita,
Wa'ai,
Wa'ai,
Ayawalam.
Awalam. Psalms 121 in the English. I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
I will lift up my eyes into the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my help?
My help cometh from the Lord.
My help cometh from the Lord,
which made heaven and earth.
which made heaven and earth.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He will not suffer thy foot to be moved.
He that keepeth thee,
He that keepeth thee
will not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth
he
Israel,
that keepeth Israel
will not slumber, shall not slumber nor sleep.
shall not slumber nor sleep.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy keeper.
The Lord is thy shade upon thy right
The
hand.
Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand.
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
The sun shall not smite thee by day,
nor the moon by night.
nor the moon by night.
The Lord shall preserve thee
The Lord shall preserve thee
from all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy soul.
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
The Lord shall preserve thy going out
and thy coming in
and thy coming in
from this time forth
from this time forth
and even forevermore.
and even forevermore. And we're going to be doing Psalms 83 in the Hebrew. Alayam,
Alayam,
all,
all,
Tamaya,
Amiyah,
Laka,
Laka,
all,
all,
Zakarash,
Zakarash,
Wa'al,
Wa'al,
Ashakwat,
Ashakwat,
all,
all,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Ana,
Ana,
Yabika,
Yabika,
Yama,
Ama,
Yawan,
Yawam,
Ra'ash,
Ya'ash,
Al, it's like Al,
Al,
Amaka,
Amaka,
Ya'ayamwa,
Ya'awa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wa'ita,
Laita,
Ya'itazawa,
Ya'tazawa,
Al,
Al,
Tazapawanyaka,
Tizapawanyika,
Morwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Manakakidam,
Manakakidam,
Goya,
Goya,
Wala'a,
Wala'ah,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Shum,
Shum,
Yasharala,
Yasharala,
Awada,
Yabada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Naitazawa,
Naitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakadwa,
Yakadwa,
Ali Yaka,
Alaka,
Bariath,
Barath,
Yakarathwa,
Yakawathwa,
Alaya,
Ayah,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Wa,
Wa,
Yashamai,
Yashamai,
Alayam,
Alayam,
Mawa'aba,
Mababa,
Walgaria,
Wagariam,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Wa'ayamwan,
Wa'ayman,
Wa'yamalak,
Wamalak,
Palashath,
Palashath,
Amishabia,
Abishabia,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gum,
Gum,
Ashawar,
Ashawar,
Malawa,
Yarawa,
Aimam,
Ayman,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Zarai,
Zarai,
Labunya,
Yabunya,
Mawat,
Yawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Lahum,
Yahum,
Kamudyan,
Kamudyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sarah,
Kayabyan,
Kayabyam,
Banakal,
Barakal,
Koyashwan,
Koyashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Bayan,
Maya,
Dara,
Naira,
Hayawa,
Ayawa,
Dama,
Aman,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Dama,
Dama,
Shaitamwa,
Shaitamwa,
Da,
Ada,
Yamawat,
Narawat,
Karai,
Karai,
Salakia, Kaira,
Kaira,
Wakaza Abba,
Kazaba,
Kazabak,
Kazabak,
Wakatazol,
Katazol,
Nai,
Nanai,
Call,
Kol,
Asayakamwa,
Asamakla,
Ashor,
Ashar,
Marwa,
Amara,
Salakia, Narai, Salakia, Nayarasha,
Nairasha,
Lanawat,
Nawat,
Af,
Af,
Naiwaf,
Naiwat,
Alahaya,
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 Shaitamwa,
Shaitamwa,
Gogala,
Gagala,
Quash,
Quash,
Lapunya,
Lapanya,
Wa,
Lakwak,
Kaash,
Kaash,
Tabaira,
Tabaira,
Ira,
Ira,
Wa,
Wak,
Kalaba,
Kalabat,
Talahat,
Salat,
Pahoyim,
Ahayim,
Kun,
Kun,
Daradatma,
Naradama,
Sairaka,
Sazirika,
Wabasa,
Wabasar,
Pathka,
Tapaka,
Tabahalam,
Tabalaham,
Malaa,
Malak,
Panyahum,
Palaham,
Kuala One,
Palawan,
Waya,
Waya,
Kwashwa,
Ukashwa,
Shamka,
Shumka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa, Yaya,
Balawa,
Malawa,
Anyai,
Ayai,
Waya,
Waya,
Karwa,
Karwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Abadwa,
Abadwa,
Waya,
Waya,
Daiwa,
Daiwa,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Ata,
Ata,
Shumka,
Shumka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labaka,
Labaka,
Aliwan,
Adawam,
Al,
Call,
Haratiza.
Haratiza. Psalms 83 in the English. Keep not thy silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still.
O God.
O God.
For lo,
thine
thine enemies make atonement.
thine enemies make atonement.
And they that hate thee,
And they that hate thee
have lifted up the head.
have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel
Against thy people.
against thy people.
And consulted. Against thy hidden
Against
ones.
thy hidden ones.
They have said, Come, and let us cut them off
and let us cut them off
from being a nation.
from being a nation.
That the name of Israel
The name of Israel
may be no more in remembrance.
maybe no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together
For they have consulted
with
together
one consent.
with one consent.
They are confederate against thee.
They are confederate against
The tabernacles of Edom
the tabernacles of Edom
and the Ishmaelites
and the Ishmaelites
of Moab
of Moab
and the
and
Hagarenes,
the Hagarenes,
Gabal
Gabal
and Ammon
and Ammon
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also was joined with them.
So also was joined with
They
them.
have hope of the children of Lot.
They have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them
Do unto them
as to the Midianites,
as to the Midianites,
as to Sisera,
as to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to
at
Jabin,
the brook of Kison,
at the brook of Kison,
which perished at Endor.
which perished at Endor.
They became as done for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like Oreb,
Make their nobles like Oreb,
and like Zaid,
and like Zaid.
Yea, all their princes as Zabah,
All their princes as Zabah,
and as Armuman,
and as Almun,
who
who
said,
said,
Let us take to ourselves
let us say to ourselves,
the houses of God in possession.
the houses of God in possession.
Oh my
Oh
God,
my God.
make them like a wheel,
Make them like a wheel,
as a stubble before the wind,
as a stubble before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame set the mountains on
and
fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them
So persecute them
with thy tempests,
with thy tempests,
and make them
and
afraid
make them afraid
with thy storm.
with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy
O
name.
Lord,
O Lord,
let them be confounded
let them be confounded
and troubled
and troubled
forever.
forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame
let them be put to shame
and
and
perish,
perish,
that men may know
that men may know
that thou,
that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high
art the most high
over all the earth.
over all the earth.
Whew.
Get that same.
Shalom, Israel. The water for tuning in.
Go ahead.
Harder.
He got it.